Kales, and today I'm going to make for you one of my favorite staple recipes. It is a Hungarian lentil soup. It actually came from one of my best friends, Annette, who is from Hungary. And the first time I had this soup at her house, I ate about 3 or 4 bowls of it. It didn't taste like anything I've ever had before. 90% of the time I have everything that I need for it in stock. So it's a really great go-to recipe. It's super fast, easy, and inexpensive, and it makes a lot of food. So please join me while we make Hungarian lentil soup. Okay, to get started, obviously we're going to need our lentils. You're going to need about 2 cups of dried green lentils for this. You can usually find them in a bag where you can find dried beans, and they're sometimes as low as 79 cents a bag, and it makes this giant pot of soup, so it's very inexpensive. But to completely start the recipe, get a big soup pot, some olive oil, 2 medium onions, white or yellow onions, and a few cloves of garlic, 4 to 6 cloves of garlic. You're going to put the 2 diced onions along with the grated cloves of garlic into a soup pot with some olive oil at a medium-high heat so that the onions can start to get really translucent. I still don't know how people chop onions without crying. This is horrible. I have to pause it. Okay, eyeliner and chopping onions is not a very fun mix, and that happens to me every single time. But the next thing we're going to do once we have our garlic and onions sauteed and translucent is to add the magical ingredient that makes this taste very different. It is actually brown sugar, and normally I would not advocate adding lots of sugar or any sugar to something. In this case, it's essential for the recipe to taste the way that it does. You're going to add the brown sugar slowly so that it makes kind of a caramelized sauce to the onions and garlic. Alright, we've got the brown sugar in there, and now we're going to add 2 cups of dried lentils to 8 to 10 cups of water, and just throw it right in the pot. Okay, and while that is simmering and starting to get warm and hot, we're going to chop up some potatoes and some carrots. I like to leave the skins on the potato. Just make sure you wash them really well. The water and lentils are on the stove in the pot getting warm. And the last things to add are just some salt to taste, but do that at the end. Make sure you get the last of these ingredients first so you don't oversalt. So we're going to add a few bay leaves. I'm just kind of grabbing like a handful of whole dried bay leaves, maybe 8 to 10. Just throw them in there. That kind of backs up the flavor a little bit. And then the last main ingredient for the unique flavor of this soup is actually a brown spicy mustard. I love this. This stuff is so cheap. I'm going to add usually about equal amounts of spicy mustard to brown sugar. So if we used about 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar, use about that much, maybe a little less of mustard. And you can keep adding those things back in increments until you get the desired taste that you want. When you add the mustard in, you're going to want to use a whisk because you have all of those lentils and potatoes and carrots and everything kind of floating around in there. And the mustard, especially if you have a squeeze top kind, is just going to kind of come out in this long string, this mustard string. So you're going to want to use a whisk to really break it up and get it mixed through. It's a delightful noise. Okay, at this point the soup is still pretty watery because the lentils haven't yet cooked up. Once they do, it's going to really fill up the pot. But at this point you should be able to just take a spoon and try a little bit and see if it has a strong enough flavor. And if you don't get a very strong flavor, you can add some more brown sugar and add some more mustard in equal parts until you get the type of flavor you want. And I'm going to just put some sea salt in there now to kind of boost everything up. Okay, the flavor seems pretty good now, so I just put a lid on and we're going to bring everything down to a low simmer. And at this point, we're kind of just letting the lentils cook so they can puff up and become hydrated again, which will thicken up. Just be able to do this for about 30 to 40 minutes. Just keep checking on it, try the lentils, see what they taste like, but you want to make sure they get good and soft. Alright, that's everything. Once the soup is cooked all the way through, once the lentils are cooked all the way through, and everything is seasoned as you like it, you're all set. It's going to make enough for several meals. So this is a great recipe because it's really just kind of throwing a bunch of things in a pot, chopping a couple of vegetables, and letting the heat do the rest of the work. But if you do decide to eat this in warmer months, you can eat it cold. I think it's really good like that too. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think and keep watching Save the Kales for more recipes and videos and lots of really, really exciting stuff that is coming up in the near future. Thanks guys, bye-bye.